this is going to be a little bit different. I was actually hoping to try picture or video in a video thing, so I could put the webcam on my face, but unfortunately this broadcaster thing doesn't want to accept the two camera inputs, or it can see them and it can select them, but it won't yet let them do the thing. So, yeah. Anyway, I was kind of hoping that I could do that, so we could put that one to bed once and for all, and, you know, because I'm going to do it on the showdown thing, but I don't know if I'm going to be doing it for battles itself, because I'll give you on the battles, because there's not much point having my live reaction, because I played the battle, it's a bit dumb. But anyway, things. Hey, this does give me an opportunity to actually explain my team. This was for the BST tourney, however this is not an actual tourney battle. I'll explain that in a bit, probably when I actually get down to it, but it didn't go especially well. Anyway, I'll explain my team. I got a Swanner, I've got a Morwile, which isn't mega. The Swanner is a max speed, max special attack lefties, defog thing. Morwile is max HP, max attack, life orb, sheer force with like fire blast, iron head, play rough, whatever. Got a Chime Meko, which is my special wall with a future sight, wish, protect, and heal bell. Not great. I've got rock polish Aurorus, which I actually really like. Life orb, it's pretty chunky. Assault vest Seeking, because I saw someone use that and thought, hey, I can give that a go. So it's got knock off and drill run. So need a bit of help on that one. But yeah, I'm cool. It looks pretty good. And then we got Infiltrator, Survivor with Glare, Poison Jab, Flamethrower, and EQ. So yeah, hopefully I can remember this. It's been a while since I've had this battle, and in fact I've got loads of battles stocked up from just like random passerby dudes, and there's Malk's battle, which is the tourney battle I had, and was in fact the only tourney battle I had, but I will explain. Yeah, passerby and stuff like that, so yeah, I don't know. We'll sort something out at some point. Anyway, stuff. Let's actually record this thing instead of sitting here dithering on about it. So yeah, hopefully I remember this crap. So, might take a while for me to get going on this one. I'm still kind of annoyed I couldn't put the two camera inputs in. I suppose it will be something I have to test when I eventually get a capture board, and then we can just put it to bed if we want to use it or not. Anyway, so as I said, I get out Iswana. He's gonna lead off with his shiny Absol. That's gonna be a Mega, and that's gonna kick my gonads in. His team was rather worrying, because my team is incredibly low tier NU, apart from Morwile, which is only in the tier it's in, purely because it's got Mega Morwile. So there you go. Anyway, he's gonna Mega instantly, and I thought that I could go into Morwile, sponge whatever he wanted to go for, and he goes for the Thunderbolt. And I'm like, Morwile ain't really sponging that, but, and he does get the power as well, bit of a bastard. But, this is why we have Assault Vest Seeking. And Assault Vest Seeking is actually really bloody good. I like it greatly. And, you know, it gets a good combination of moves, it gets Mega Horn, it gets Knockoff, Drill Run, whatever you like, and it's really bloody bulky. Anyway, he's a shiny Gyarados, and that's pretty fucking terrible. I believe I just go for the Mega Horn as he goes to the Intimidate. And I think he said he was max HP, max defense, special defense, something in that region. So, definitely a wall or tank Gyarados, I suppose, but not going to be a DD one, which is grand. So hey, I'm going to go back into Morwile in case I can get a cheeky Sucker Punch off, or maybe a Play Rough. But he's going to go for a Waterfall. To Morwile's credit, does live it on the 1 HP, which is lovely, but not to Morwile's credit. I believe it's actually going to get Parrot. Yeah, there you go. I went for the Sucker Punch, see if I could land a bit of extra damage on it. But it's alright, because I have the Freeze Dry Aurorus. Now, my Aurorus set, basically, you're going to need a Nature Power so you can get the Tri-Attack, get the Super Boost, and then it kills everything. But then it comes down to, do you want Freeze Dry or do you want Thunderbolt? Thunderbolt does hit different things quite well, but Freeze Dry, I tend to think is the better move, and it gets Stab, and I think it's just a bit better than Thunderbolt. But either way, it doesn't really matter there, because both would have destroyed Gyarados. And because he's a defensive set, or especially defensive set, might be specially defensive, I outspeed because I'm max speed, and I crush him. Now, he's going to go into Raticate, and I figured that I could take whatever it wants to go for, because it doesn't, apart from reversal, it doesn't really have much to hit Aurorus, but I go for the rock polish as he misses a U-turn, which would have hurt a bit, but he's obviously hustle, maybe hustle scarfed, hustle banded. But yeah, I rock polish up, and then I try attack and smush his face off, so fantastic. But now he can go into Ditto, and that's a bit rough. But it's alright, he only copies my speed, and he's obviously scarfed, so he's going to go for that ancient power. But fortunately, since I'm Life Orb, mine's going to do an awful lot more. And whittling down a Ditto, always a good thing. Admittedly, I took a massive hit on my Aurorus, but like I say, getting his Ditto down there is always randy dandy. So, I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to go into Seeking. Because I'm assuming he's scarfed. If he isn't, then shit. But, yeah, Seeking should be alright, and I might well even take a freeze dry. But, Seeking with the Assault Vest tanks that fairly well, and I believe I just go for I go for the Waterfall, I suppose, just in case, get a bit of damage on something. But he's gonna go into Porygon too, and I'm gonna go for a knockoff, because I don't really have any majorly reliable way of taking this thing out, apart from just smashing it in its face and hoping it fucks off. But apart from that, it doesn't exactly look great. Porygon 2 does present problems. But now I'm going to switch out. I suppose Seeking could just wail on it, but it can out-recover me. Anyway, I can go into Chimecho, and I can Wish, and I can Protect, and I can Heal Bell. I will say, my Chimecho is a little bit janky. It should be max special defense, but unfortunately, I must have buggered up and forgotten to put the item on it when I was EVing it in special defense. So there are a couple of things in, like, attack or something weird. I don't know. So, I will need to go back and do something at one point, but it doesn't really matter because Chimecho is fairly fucking piddly. I was very, very, very unimpressed with Chimecho. Believe me, it is not as lovely as you'd like to think. Anyway, he's got his Diggersby here. He goes for the Stone Edge. I suppose predicting the Swanna, and I'm just going to go for the future save because Chimecho should tank one. It's fairly bulky, but it is most certainly not a wall. Most certainly not. Its HP's pretty crap. It hasn't quite got the special defense to tank a lot of things, so it works, it's fairly functional, but against really hard hitters, it isn't going to stand a chance. Anyway, he's going on his Absol, and he made a good play, switching in, taking the Future Sight, very, generally how you do it. Future Sight can catch a few people off guard, because it can get lost in the backlog of, thinking about things. But he goes with Fire Blast, and Chimecho just doesn't give a shit, which is lovely. Chimecho can be good when it wants to be. But anyway, I believe we both double switch, and I go into Seeking to pass it a Wish as he switches out because Absol weren't doing nothing. It weren't doing nothing. So that's cool. I do like the mixed Absol though. Good idea. But I don't really want to get smashed with an EQ, so as much as I'd like to keep Aurorus, it's very difficult to pass Wishes to, and Chimecho isn't going to give it much HP. So, figured, may as well sack it, see what he locks himself into. He goes for the EQ. I'm assuming Scarfed. You generally assume Scarfed Diggersbys, because that's kind of what they do. But now I can go into Swanna, and Swanna I actually quite like. It's a little bit underpowered, but sort of the offensive defog thing is really rather cool. So yeah, I was fairly pleased with the Swanna. And then I get the bullshit burn. I'm like, aha, take that Porygon 2. I'll beat you down in time, you bastard. Anyway, one thing I can do is I can go into Survivor, and I'm probably going to tank any special hit he wants to go for, because he's obviously a really very defensive set. However, Survivor doesn't take that especially well. I do have a sub Gluttony Terry, and I will try that out. I have been trying to get battles with other people who got, like, shanked in the tourney, but whenever I asked, they're all just like, oh, I gotta go to bed, or oh, I gotta do something. It's like, oh, what's wrong with battling me, you bastards? I only got 1.5 matches. Blah. Anyway, he's going to recover stall a bit, which, well, I suppose not recover stall. He wants to get his HP back because his duck is being fucking owned right now. But he's going to scarp her out, which I suppose is fair enough, and he's going to go into Diggersby. And Diggersby can tank an awful lot of things, but I completely predicted it and got the glare in, and I'm like, oh, boosh, Survivor, like her beast, and now Swana can also outspeed, so if it does want to lock itself into Stone Edge, then I can handle that, and I can go for the school and be like, yeah. But yeah, Swana's not bad. It's like it's pretty much the offensive equivalent of Pelipper, and you don't have to get it in 4th gen to give it default, because it learns it naturally, so it was very helpful for me. But, I don't know, little lack of power, but I think it's base 101 speed, so it can outspeed a fair old few things. Anyway, I'm going to go for the heal belt and get that poison off of Seaking, and he's going to get paralysed, which is pretty bloody lame, because, let's face it, Chimecho probably should have died there. But there you go. Yeah, the other thing is that Seaking can now come in, and then I can just waterfall and smash this smug bastard in the face. So I'm just going to go for the wish. You know, Chimecho pretty much run its race. Again, it's not bad by any means. The main thing that I was disappointed on with this entire team is it was 6 guys plus 3 in reserve that you can swap in and out. The one guy that I was so fucking disappointed with was I got a hyper voice Carmine Girafarig, and it was shocking. Partly because I play badly, and partly because it has dickle speed, even timid. So, Girafarig, probably the worst thing that I had on this team. Anyway, Seaking is currently taking care of business and kicking the crap out of Porygon 2. And really, Assault Vest Seaking is fantastic. You partner that up with a Wish Passer, and you're in, mate. But he's going to go into his Ditto, and he's going to now be a Seaking, and he can knock off, and I can't afford to get knocked off because I need my Absol to be grand. That's the long and short of it. I need my Absol to be good to go. Anyway, I go to Survivor as he goes for the Drill Rod. That was an amazing fucking prediction, but he made it. I was expecting the knockoff. That made complete and utter sense to me, and Survivor was the one thing I didn't mind getting knocked off, but, yeah. Didn't quite work out that way. So now he's going to go back into Diggersby, as I'm going to fucking Scarborough out and be like, don't want to deal with that. And I'm going to go into Swana. I can get a pretty chunky hit off on the Diggersby. Seaking is set up to ruin it. And look at that damage. Look at that. And then he gets the bullshit power, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty fucking lame. So I just go for the defog, just to let him take me out. It's the fair thing to do. But he's going to lock himself into Wild Charge, which I suppose means he doesn't miss, but again, that's just setting my Seaking up to just come in and just dump in his face, so did seem a smidge odd, but he does kill himself with the Wild Charge, so I suppose in that particular instance it worked out for him. But the Lightning Rod Seaking can be very threatening when it wants to be. Anyway, I'm going to go into Survivor, because Survivor is the more expendable dude, and I would rather he copied Survivor. But he's going to Scarper out, and he's going to go into his Absol, which is pretty good, because I can just sort of go for the EQ. Now, I wasn't quite sure at all on this one. He said that he has no attack investment, and he's got the Sucker Punch. It was quite an intricate little thing. I just needed to make sure that Seaking was alive and couldn't be knocked off. But he's going over the Sucker Punch, hits like I trade, but Survivor tanks it, and I can go over the Poison Jab and kill him. Now, he can still win this, because he can now copy my Survivor. He's obviously scuffed. He can go for the EQ or the Poison Jab. Seaking hasn't got the greatest defenses. So it all kind of comes down to how much damage he can do to my Seaking. And he's obviously going to outspeed my Survivor. I think I'm pretty much in the bag at this point, because losing his Absol was fairly pivotal. But down goes Survivor, and then I bring in Seaking, and for some ungodly reason, I actually managed to outspeed his Survivor. My Survivor is Brave, I believe. Max attack, bit of a lot of special attack, and then some HP. And my Survivor was so fucking slow that not even Scarf Ditto could make it fast. So there you go. That was a good battle. It was just a shame that my tourney battles were terrible. I mean, I actually had quite a few good battles with this cheeky team. Trying to remember. I don't think I actually have any other battles with my other 3 guys that I've got. So I might. I'm going to try and get some. I'm going to try and at least showcase Girafarig and why I don't particularly like it. But the idea was there. It was a nice idea. It just really didn't fucking pay off in the slightest. And I really wish I'd bought Aurorus to the battle I had instead of fucking Girafarig, because shit was it bad. So yeah, that's Malk's team, and I suppose we will get on to Malk's thing later. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'm probably just going to upload this straight, because, yeah. I want to see if this comes out a little bit better than if I just have to run it through Movie Maker, and hey, you know, it's cool. And now I can do stuff like this and be like, oh, I'm actually talking and stuff. So, stuff, I suppose. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in a bit. Peace.